Hi, Mac. I'm fine, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Happy Women's Month to you.
Thank you.
You looking forward to the celebrations of March, seeing how the women of the world are celebrated for their achievements and their efforts?
Um, I will be honest with you. This is something that I've started considering more and more these last years, ever since I've become a mom, and I was actually thinking about what is the message that I would like for my daughter to receive from all this. Honestly, ideally, we would live in a world where we would not have to celebrate a woman's month, and it would be women and men month every month, but yeah, that's an entire conversation, right? So
Yeah, and
I
we'll get
want to
into
say,
the subject of motherhood shortly because there's
yeah,
many interesting things we can talk about there.
yeah.
The first thing I want to ask you, Cosmina, is do you think that being a woman has influenced the way in which you lead your team? Because you are an operations manager here at 5CA. So do you think having a woman's perspective has altered your way of leading in any way?
Yes, yeah, I would say that definitely, but it has a lot to do with culturally how women are brought up, and it's not necessarily something that I would want perpetuated, and the reason I'm saying this is because most of it comes from that idea where women are educated and brought up to be the caregivers, and taking care of everything, the being empathetic, listen more than talk, So all these things, they do play an important role when you're a leader, right? And when you manage people, right? So I would say that it definitely has influenced, uh, yeah, my way of leading in a good way,
Hmm. In a
obviously.
good way. In a good way. Very good. So, being a woman has influenced your way of leading your team in a good way, of course. So, what would you say about your journey to reaching this position that you're in now as an operations manager here at 5CA? Has being a woman affected your career path in any way at all?
Yeah, that is a very good question, and it has, for me at least, because all the different roles that women play in society, there comes a time where when we become mothers, of course, not all of us. And I wanted this very bad. That was probably one of the things I knew from a long time, that I wanted to be a mother, and one of the reasons was because I wanted to break a chain of the way we were raised and educated. I'll leave that one part for now, because it ties very much into this whole idea of leadership and the way I am managing and leading my teams, right? But coming back to this, it has delayed it for me. Being a mother, it has delayed my career, because I had to pause my career so that I can be with my daughter. And that is because I strongly believe in attachment and in entire attachment theory. And I wanted to be there for the first 2 years of my daughter's life. As her primary caretaker, yes, I wanted to be here with her, tend to her needs. And, she only started kindergarten when she was 2. And that is when I actually joined 5CA and, you know, started my career with 5CA.
So, of course, that was a few years ago, and now you have pursued this career and you're in the wonderful position of operations manager with us here at 5CA, which is a wonderful position to see a entrepreneurial woman such as yourself occupying here with us. So, a few years later, after everything we just spoke about, you are now operations manager. You have Maria at home with you. What is the experience of motherhood like when balancing your professional responsibilities with motherhood?
To answer this, I will have to go back exactly 4 years ago, Mac, when I started, well, actually, when I found the 5CA as a company, and I started working with 5CA. Actually, on February 15th, I turned 4 years in 5CA. I will be honest with you. I was in a moment where I needed a job, and I needed a job that would just fit my schedule as a mother. So being able to, be with my daughter in the morning, then be with her in the evenings, and I've gotten to a point where I just needed a job, and that's it's very unfortunate to say that, but that could fit the schedule that a kid has and needs because, well, unfortunately, bringing the two together is very difficult, motherhood and being a career oriented woman, right? So I found 5CA and I started working as an agent, and the fact that it was 100% remote, for me, it was the one thing that mattered the most. And then, of course, because I started as an agent, I had this very positive mindset, and I was extremely determined to not be an agent for a long time. So when I joined, actually, I had this mindset that I'm not going to be an agent for more than a year. If this happens, then I will have to reconsider everything again. And of course, I wasn't. And I kind of managed in 4 years to become an operations manager when I started as an agent, So yeah, here I am. Here I am today. So the balance, I've worked a lot to have this balance, but I think I knew exactly what I needed, and I kind of had my big rocks very well defined, right? So I knew I needed time with my kid and my family because that plays a huge role for me. And if I don't have that, then I cannot perform properly at my job. And it kind of works the other way around. If I'm not happy with my job, of course I cannot be there with my daughter and my husband and, give everything when I have to be with.
Well then, Cosmina, as one final question for you before we let you get back to your very busy schedule as both operations manager and a mother at home, what would you say to other women pursuing a career path like yours, especially if they're mothers?
Mm, that's a great question, Mac. Yeah. Um, and I can only say this from my personal experience is it's something that I mentioned earlier that I had a clear goal in mind. And I said when I joined 5CA, okay, I don't want to be doing this for more than a year. So my advice would be kind of know where you're heading. Be always a few steps ahead of yourself, right? And know what you're aiming for, and also ask for help, um, both at work and in your personal life if you can. As a mother, it's very important to have a support system around you. It's very hard otherwise, and asking for help and even sharing sometimes when we're in a hard spot, sharing that with your manager, your peers, it sometimes really it helps because you take the load off of your chest, for once. And it also helps because people are actually very empathetic, and they can help. And for me, especially in 5CA, I've worked with lovely people that have helped me in my development, but also, in my day-to-day job. I have friends in 5CA that I've never met personally, but I can say they are my friends, that I meet with them every now and then, and we have a virtual coffee, and these are the people that I sometimes go to and just spill my soul out.
Hmm.
So yeah, I guess have a plan and ask for help.
Well, thank you very much for these warm and wise words that you've shared with us, Cosmina, and thank you very much for doing this video with us. I wish you a very happy Women's Month to you and your daughter.
Thank you so much, Meg, and thank you for having me. I really hope that this is going to inspire a few moms that maybe they're struggling right now. And happy Women's Month back to everyone who's watching this.